Hello everyone, we will have some Winnipeg Jets news to talk about today. Now before we start the video, please make sure to join the Hockey Brigade by subscribing if you are new. Now let's get to it. And the news we'll be talking about today is Paul Maurice resigning as the head coach of the Winnipeg Jets. Now Maurice has been the Jets coach since part of the 2013-14 season and has been in charge for 600 out of the 777 games played with this version of the Jets franchise, which means he's coached 77% of their games. And it appears, though, that after all this time with the team and over 1,600 games in the NHL as a coach, that he feels the need to step away. Now, according to Elliotte Friedman, he said, quote, in regard to this is actually Elliotte Friedman using the quote from Paul Maurice, quote, "This is a good team, I'm a good coach, but sometimes you can only push so far. Sometimes a team needs a new voice. They haven't quit on me, but need a different voice. It's the right time for it, and I know that," end quote. And it's odd to see a coach do this, especially halfway through the year, but you have to wonder whether it was either him resigning or them threatening him to be fired, just based off what we've seen. The team's on a 4-game losing streak and has had some majorly disappointing losses this year, including a 1-0 shutout against the Arizona Coyotes, which is just kind of crazy to think about. And then most recently, they struggled against the Buffalo Sabres. They lost 4-2, and while he has made the playoffs 4 times with the Jets, excluding the qualifying round, expectations with the team just really never lived up to the reality of it when you had all this, or I guess reality never lived up to expectations, I should say, with his tenure. And I could remember that in his first year with the team, they made the playoffs for the first time ever as this version of the Jets. And it was just so funny because you could tell they were excited just to be there, like the fans, the players, everybody. It was wild. They would go on and they would lose to the Ducks in a sweep, but it was just wild. The energy happened, but like any sport or any other team, with winning comes expectations, and then that was sparked by a hugely successful 2017-18 season where the Jets went 52-20-10 for 114 points and went all the way to the Western Conference Finals before losing to Vegas in 5. The future looked bright, but the Jets really just never got back to that euphoric type season, leading to a buildup of frustration within the organization and the fan base. And while it's true, Winnipeg did win 3 playoff series during his time, including a first-round upset of the Oilers last year, there's just always things that, stop them from living up to what their perceived potential is. And that was a big thing. Why didn't they go farther? Last year was a great example of this, as they should have had a really good chance to advance to the 3rd round and play Vegas in a rematch of the Western Conference Finals from 2018. Instead, after they just upset the Oilers, who were, maybe not the perfect team, but they had Connor McDavid, Draisaitl, etc., they went on to play Montreal, the Canadiens, who were not exactly a dominant team in the regular season, and then got swept by them. And I know that this had to be frustrating because you look at the state of Montreal and Winnipeg, and obviously on paper and things, Winnipeg was supposed to win that series. They didn't. And after all, I think at one point the team's future just looked like it could have been one of those things where maybe they could have gone on some deep runs, but this just wasn't happening. And fan favorites like Patrick Laine are long gone due to a variety of reasons, some of it being Coach Maurice's decisions. Obviously, Laine did not like what was going on with the power play, stuff like that at times. And then there's other points, too, that we have to talk about that were commonplace arguments around Maurice's coaching, such as a lack of ice time with certain players. And, for particular reasons, there just were some guys that played well, but they didn't get a lot of minutes. And this was one of the reasons, but other ones being defensive issues. This was a huge problem for Winnipeg during his tenure, especially on that back end. You look at it and you think, holy cow, this was dragging the team down way more than it should have. And some people would go even as far as to say is without star goalie Connor Hellebuyck, Paul would have got fired a long time ago. And while I don't know, probably, I think there is a lot of truth in that. I was going to try to defend him there, but, I do think that Connor Hellebuyck might have saved his job a few times already just because of the insane play he's had. Still, while it's probably the best move for the organization going forward, I'm sure there still are some Winnipeg fans that will remember Maurice for the good moments within this organization, including the playoff victories. Again, things weren't perfect. They didn't live up to the hype multiple years, but they had that big run in 2018, and then obviously they upset the Oilers last year. That had to be a feel-good. And resigning is obviously a very tough thing, and he did it without the threat, or whether or not he did it without the threat of being fired. Kudos for him to still do what's best for the team, not cause drama, and to go forward. But for Maurice, I am sure he'll be fine. He will be totally fine. If he decides to come back and coach again, he'll get another opportunity. He coached for over a decade with the Whalers and the Hurricanes when they came around, and then also he has had a stint somewhere else. I can't remember it for the life of me. But obviously he's coached the Jets as well. And yeah, while the teams obviously haven't been able to go on this run and win a cup with him at coach, there have been some good moments. And again, while there are problems with his coaching, it seems like older coaches always get another chance to come back. As for the Jets, assistant coach Dave Lowry will be taking over as the assistant or the interim coach, and that means his son might just get some more playing time, if you know what I mean. So what do you think of all this? Let me know down below. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And again, don't forget to join the Hockey Brigade by subscribing. And everybody stay safe. Have a great night. You go love COVID. No. You stay safe, alright? Goodbye, Brigadiers and Brigadettes. This is your captain signing off. Have a great night.